I don't want. We're live. It's over. There's no more waiting.
Oh, there's no more waiting.
We're live.
All right. I turned off the volume. Have you?
What's up, Fantinuum? There's no more waiting. Oh no, let's mute this stuff. Hold on.
We're live. All right.
Gotta mute you old YouTubes. Can't be listening to my own voice. Makes me crazy.
Lowell.
Yeah, buddy.
Why don't you introduce us?
Thank you for joining us, everybody. You'll say something, so the microphone's on you real quick.
Hello, everybody. My name is Yule.
That is my friend Yule Carter. He owns
Whoa.
Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California, right next to old HPB in downtown Berkeley. He doesn't really have a sign, so you kind of have to look for him.
I have a sign.
No,
there's
you
not
don't.
one person.
Don't even. You're so
there's not
embarrassing.
one person that didn't know that we were here as they walk by that doesn't say, "Oh, Fantastic Comics."
Anyway, Yule, I am Lowell, your counterpart and counterpoint in this kind of a thing. John Ryan, how's it going? We're just getting started. We literally have just been bullshitting for first 5 minutes. Anyway, we just been kind of shooting the whatever for a couple minutes, talking about the recent week. Some interesting stuff, some fantastic stuff. I just got back from Texas, but we're not really here to talk about what I did. We're here to talk about what you did this week, Yule.
Oh yeah, we did.
Do you want to put that off until like in the middle?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Why don't we get settled?
Yeah? We'll kind of BS for a few minutes.
More than BS. We might even do the first part of the show first.
The first part of the show first.
Do you see anything wrong with that?
Well, we don't usually put the second part first, but the first part is usually the first part.
I think we're confused about what I mean. That's what I think. I
thought you were talking about. I'm joking. I thought you were talking about maybe doing the comic reviews first.
Yes.
I see. Well, why don't you tell us about your trip to Texas, and I can get us ready for that.
All right. I will tell you about the trip to Texas. I left on a Thursday, and I came back on a Monday, and it was a lot of fun. Is that good?
What were you doing there?
I went to San Antonio with a very good friend of mine to look for books. There was this huge library sale run by the PTA for the North Side Independent School District in San Antonio. And those people do not know anything about books, which is fortunate. They also don't realize that for a library sale, most libraries charge a rather hefty entry fee, which they didn't do. It was free to get in. And we were probably like the 50th people in. And I found some amazing stuff, but it's only amazing if you're a collector of books. No real good sci-fi. Found a lot of paperbacks there in the background, but nothing really spectacular. There was a horror anthology, and that's pretty much it. But otherwise, the first edition of a Salinger book and Cormac McCarthy, and that's pretty much it. So am I done, Yule?
Is that backwards?
That is no.
It's showing up backwards on my screen.
Yeah, mine does that too, and I don't know why.
Okay, as long as let's make sure the chat can see the picture.
It's a little low.
I'm gonna do something about that. I just want to make sure.
Or high, whichever. The perspective is low. The image is
high.
How
was the barbecue, Lowell?
I'm sorry. I didn't have any barbecue because that is a stereotype.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. What's up, Julian? Long time no see.
Okay, good. It's not backwards. I'm just going to raise the camera. Tell us a little bit about what you purchased. I saw some picture, or you showed me a couple of those books.
I did kind of just mention all that stuff.
Wait, you said the Salinger?
I did.
I didn't hear that.
It's Raise High the Roof Beam, Carpenters, and Seymour, an introduction from 1963. And it's very pretty. It's very pretty.
Very pretty.
That's the highlight for sure. And then getting rear-ended by some ding-dong in Fort Worth who just wanted to give me $200. That was awesome too.
So you got a $200. You got $200 for getting rear-ended.
Yeah, I did, and it didn't even damage my car.
Well, let's be realistic here. Your car, how much damage can it? I mean, it's either all or none for the most part.
Well, that's what the insurance company would say, but I would disagree completely. That truck is worth a fortune to me. I love it.
It's your
I love
only
it.
truck.
It has nothing to do with that. It's irreplaceable. It has an almost new engine in a 1995 body. I mean, it's going to last me for at least another 200,000 miles.
All right, cool. How should I do that? Oh, that's horrible.
Without the glare. That's how you should do it.
All right, I'm going to try and do this. Let's see how this works out. I read Freedom Fighters last week. This is from a few weeks ago. And I don't know why it took me so long. I enjoy this book each time I read it. It's really good. Let me try it this way. No, it all stinks. Okay, cool. So I like the artwork a lot. It's done by Eddie Barrows. It's written by Venditti. He's the guy who did Hal Jordan, I think, for a while. He also did some Exo Man of War. He's a pretty good writer. I like him a lot. Anyway, I know it's Earth X. It's
Is that
this is yeah, exactly. This is Mount Rushmore or Mount Reichsmere.
Mount Hitler?
Exactly. So in this story, the Nazis have won. It's very reminiscent of anybody like me who read All-Star Squadron in the 80s, or maybe like I forget what it was called, like Young Heroes or Young Justice or something like that was in the 90s. And then, just your older versions of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman in the 50s or 40s taking on, Nazis. Unfortunately, they aren't around, and the Freedom Fighters or the or whatever I just said, they all died. They were killed.
Do you mean like all of the heroes that would have
all the heroes are
died?
Dead. The human bomb got exploded, and Black Condor got decapitated as he was crucified, and all sorts of other stuff. But like 50 years have gone by, and the spirit of freedom has awoken in America. And as this cover is showing you, Uncle Sam is coming back from the dead.
Good old Uncle Sam, huh?
Uncle
Does he have a little white beard?
Power he is as strong as the citizens' belief in him.
Lame.
Shut up.
That is lame.
It is kind of lame, but overall it's really good. And I like the character is lame, but he is cool. I don't know. Anyway, this is very well done. It's not so over the top that you don't like it. You know how I am about Nazi stories. It's kind of overdone, and with how people react to other people, it's really overdone. But this is a good book. I like it. It's a 12 issue arc. It almost feels like this is the end of the story. So there's going to be some wrinkles that have to come in, or else I don't know what they're going to do for 12 whole issues.
Well, how old is Uncle Sam, Yule? Pretty old, right?
Probably pretty old. Yeah, he's been around for a while.
I think he's coming in with some wrinkles.
At least as long. At least as old as that poster, right?
Yeah, I don't even know the origin of that character.
Freedom Fighters. Let's get on with this.
Yeah, please.
I read 2 issues of Fantastic Four. This is issue 6 and 7. There's an 8th one, but I haven't read it yet. But I read these. A customer asked me if they were any good, and I was like, I don't know. Dan Slott's early stories on the Fantastic Four weren't that good, and there's a new penciler, and I like Aaron Cooter, but already we're doing a Dr. Doom story. Dr. Doom is the Fantastic Four's biggest villain, probably, and if he isn't, then Galactus is, and he's in this book too.
Yeah.
So 2 for the price of 1.
Hey, who did the cover?
That would be Asad Ribic.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
He's very good, very painterly.
I think calling him good is an understatement.
He's very good. Look at it's pretty cool in the eyes and everything. Anyway, Dr. Doom there's speculators out there. There's a creation of a new character in this book named Vindication, I think. It's this woman who has a cosmic power that is as Doctor Doom wants it to happen. Fantastic Four get involved, and by the end of this 7th issue, it's a nice little 2-part story. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Doctor Doom is not quite up to his villainous ways, but he could definitely be pushed over the edge if he doesn't, toe the line. I'll probably read number 8.
You said that you were asked to read that, or you needed to read it in order to be able to give somebody a recommendation or whatnot. Did you then give a recommendation?
I like to please people. And it's a good artwork again. Johnny Storm. I think Dan Slott's writing the characters pretty well. Most people seem to enjoy what he's doing, even though some of the stories in the earlier stories, the problem was that the Fantastic Four weren't together, and by the end of a really big, super oversized issue, you kind of hope they would have been together, and they weren't. And then the second issue, they weren't, and then the third issue, they weren't. So it was a big old, tease. But they are all in here. Johnny Storm's awesome. He does his thing. He hits on the girl. Ben Grimm. Oh, look at it. He's changing in the Fantastic car. I like it. Ben Grimm wants to get home back to his wife. He just got married to Alicia Masters. By the end of this issue, I told you pretty much everything is figured out. There's some fisticuffs, but it's not over the top. It's just a bunch of just pretty good story. Anyway, yeah, Fantastic Four. Amazing Spider-Man. This is part 3 of The Hunted. This is not the regular artist of this storyline, Humberto Ramos. It is Gerardo Sandoval. It looks pretty good. It's Ramos-like. This is got the problem that most third issues do in story arcs. It's just kind of like a reset of everything that happened and getting us set up for everything going forward. It's good for, people that haven't been reading the issues beforehand, but nothing really important happens in here unless I miss something. It's a pretty good series or story. Anybody that hasn't been reading it, basically the Kraven the Hunter along with Arcade have captured Spider-Man's foes, and they're on basically like an island, and they're doing a whole hunted thing. There's a little bit more to it, but that's all you need to know.
Hey, Yule.
Yes, sir.
Can you answer Larry's question?
Yeah, what's the question?
What happened to Otley on the book?
Otley. I think he's probably drawing the issues that are going to come after this. He's been coming on and off a little bit. So here's what I think happened, because he was such a steady guy on Invincible. Invincible wasn't always monthly, but Otley, it was close to monthly, and he usually got his stuff done pretty well. And sometimes it was very art driven. I mean, as far as like, fighting and, action, and a lot of times it was like talking heads. So he had to do a lot of different stuff. And what happens is Amazing Spider-Man starts off, it's a double-sized issue. Otley looks not as good as he normally did on Invincible. And even though I had my personal reservations with him coming on Amazing Spider-Man, I just didn't think he was as exciting or as an important and an artist as you would hope you would put on your Amazing Spider-Man story title. But having said that, I was kind of looking forward to it. And so he did a storyline, and I think soon it was probably like 4 or 5 issues, and then he was off, and then Ramos was on. So I think it's kind of like they're doing like DC, an off again, on again thing. But yeah, he hasn't been doing as many issues as I expected him to do. Maybe he or maybe Marvel isn't happy with each other, but I don't know if that's true at all. That's just conjecture. I don't think he's doing his best work on Amazing Spider-Man, though. I think it's probably just having to get these two a months out, all the time. And yeah, I mean, I would rather have a nice digestible story that comes out monthly, have the regular artist on it, I can them. Other artists that have and Mark Bagley, but Ryan Otley is way better than those guys as far as I'm concerned. But now we have this fill-in artist. Like I said, it's an okay issue. It's not one of your most important issues you're ever going to need, but if you're close. Oh, and then lastly, this is the last book I'm going to review. Savage Sword of Conan. This is written by Dugan with art by Ron Garney. Let me just show you this first page. All right, let me show you the page without words. Jeez. Look at that. That's pretty sweet. So Jerry Dugan's right job. Ron Garney's doing a really, really good job. The only thing I would wish this could be, as I've said before, a magazine size in black and white. There was a moment in this book that is so un-Conan like. It's very upsetting. I'm gonna give, these are gonna be spoilers in this one. So he is traveling with a map in his head, Conan is, and he's trying to find this treasure before these hordes of this like wizard guy come after him. You know, he wants this stuff too. And he's with this woman, and Conan rescued this pirate or this slave that was on a pirate ship with him. Unbeknownst to these guys, he has been bit on the arm and is starting to turn into this wizard dude, whatever his name is. It really doesn't matter.
Is that how wizards reproduce?
What was that?
Is that how wizards reproduce? They have to bite somebody?
No, what it is he had like some snakes in an earlier issue, and our guy got bit, and he's kind of doing like a Sauron thing through the bite, and he's like taking him over. Does that make sense? Sauron? Is that all right?
I don't think Sauron was a snake.
No, I'm saying like he is seeing through him, right? He's controlling him. And it's because of that. Anyway, this guy dies. This guy ultimately dies at the end of the story. Right here, Conan has to put him out of his misery. And he even thanks Conan. And this is the part I don't like. Conan is like sad that he killed this dude. And I can't tell you how many Savage Sword of Conans I've read over my lifetime. If it's the woman that he just had sex with, if it's the dude he's been traveling with for a long time, someone who saved his life, almost never does he give two about anybody if they die. Like, it's just got to be the way it is. And I don't remember him ever really getting too crazy about people dying.
You don't like Conan tears?
No, it was so there's one more issue to this story. That was the only thing that just seemed like kind of out of place. I don't know, man. Just so many times. If they don't listen to Conan, if they don't do what he does, fall in a pit. What do I care?
You remember the Chuck Norris jokes last week? Do you remember the Chuck Norris jokes?
Yeah.
How could you not, right?
Well, I mean, isn't the answer Chuck Norris or something like that? Or it's Chuck, I don't even remember.
No, they're all ridiculous. They're like Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer. It's too bad he never cried. Stuff like that. Apply it to Conan, and I think we're there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. Way more than Chuck Norris, please. All right. Anyway, these are comics coming out tomorrow that I think you should check out.
Oh. Wait a minute. Wait. Stop.
All right.
El Stapo.
All right.
Don't you think now, cover that up, and don't you think now is the time that would be appropriate to recount the telling of the tales?
Oh, sure. You want me to put my face on?
Yeah.
Ugh. And then
if you're going to tell a story, yeah.
And then I'm going to come back.
I don't care. They're going to be looking at Conan the whole time you're telling your story, and there's no.
Well, I know. Okay.
Oh, nice. That's
Or
a good
not.
one, man. I'm gonna read that. Fantinium says the best one he heard was in the beginning there was nothing. Then Chuck Norris kicked nothing's ass and said, "Get to work." That was the Big Bang. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I don't know if you can apply all of them to Conan, but I bet you could apply a few. Oh, you doing something magical over there? Taking a pee pee?
I'm just getting it set up. You want to see my face, right?
Yeah, I think it's appropriate for people telling stories. I mean,
Know.
unless you want to mime it or something, get like a puppet show going on.
No, I
That
got it
would be
right here.
dumb.
Let me just fix this. All right, guys.
Everybody say hi to Eugene too. Say hi, Eugene.
Hi, Eugene. Here, I'll do this. All right. So,
from the beginning.
Oh yeah, I can talk. Yeah, sure. So let's see. Friday, it was a crazy day. I mean, it's been crazy days, period. The last few weeks we've had some bums outside the store. And I know, and I'm going to give you a little idea of what we have to go through to make what we did actually happen. Because it's crazy. The police can't do anything when they do come or when we do call, because like, let's say one smoking crack in front of our store, it takes them forever to get out here. And, last few weeks we've been kind of calling them because we've had, quite a few things going on out here. It's been nuts. And then there's construction. And then these three guys came in. Oh, well, and okay, so that's kind of what it's like in Berkeley. At the end of the last episode, I talked about how I went to the Berkeley Comic Show where dealers, I guess from all over the place, all over the world, potentially come on over here and deal in comic books, gold, silver age, some expensive, some not, people local, just all over, just comic books. It's and how we expect comic conventions these days. There's not going to be any stars, maybe a couple of comic book people. Mark Bodie's there, so that's cool. Landry Walker, good friend of ours, he was at the last one also. And I got some comics, talked about that, had a really good time. Unfortunately, Harley Yee, let me say that again. Harley Yee, who is a longtime dealer, did the one thing he never, ever does. I mean, the one time he never did, he never does this one thing. And this is the one time he did it. And he basically left his stuff in his car while he was like getting a bite to eat or something. And basically got all his comic books stolen. There was some other stuff that was in there, but they got a ton of stuff. And let me read some of the comic books. I'm not going to tell you all of them. I mean, it's kind of crazy. He had 3 different Hulk 181s, which is the first Wolverine. And all of these comic books are slab, CGC slab. They're all graded. And then these Hulks go anywhere from like 4 to 8. And he had like Daredevils, and these are the early ones with the yellow costume. And he had issues 4 and 5, and those were in very high grades. He had a first issue of Walking Dead. I mean, there wasn't that many Walking Dead #1s out there, and to have it, and it's in a very nice condition, and it's slabbed, is pretty awesome. He had Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first Spider-Man, first X-Men, first Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four, a bunch of Wonder Woman. He had a bunch of stuff. He had romance comics, and basically all this stuff totaled to about $100,000 worth of merchandise. There was another store, I think it's called Heroes. I can't remember. I'm going to blow it. If someone's here that knows in chat can say, there's a Heroes something, Heroes Comics, let's say. locally, somewhat local. And they actually called the cops. The cops came as they were buying 2 comics, or as 2 comics had come in that were part of the list. This was all put on Instagram, and emails were sent out, or Facebook posts by different guys. Basically, the Instagram comic community hashtag let everybody know what was going on. So there were 2 comics that actually got recovered. A couple guys were put in jail. Of course, they were bailed out, and things are the way they are. So Friday comes around. Friday comes around, and it's a pretty good day. Jeff and I we're working really hard. We're ringing people up that have their credit cards on file. So, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good day as far as everything's concerned. Helping customers. It's Friday. It's good weather. And about 5 o'clock, so we have about 3 hours to go before we close. 5 o'clock rolls around, and these 3 guys come in, and they have New Mutants number 98 slabbed. And they have a romance comic. Can't remember what it was called. And I'm like, well, I'm at the front, actually. And Jeffrey's back here. And he's right where Eugene is. Wave, Eugene. Yeah, thank you. And anyway. So he's looking at these books. And I know I tell Jeff things that are going on, and sometimes, he just doesn't care. He's my brother. But I did tell him about, the stolen merchandise. He knew about the stolen merchandise. And almost as he was thinking to say something to me about it, I was coming back here to basically take a look at what they were and see if, maybe these were those things. It's just 2 comic books that came in, though. So I looked at the New Mutants, and these are all CGC, and the New Mutants has a green label on it. And I thought to myself, well, I don't know what the hell a green label is. And my brother and I we're talking in front of the guys, and we're like, oh, well, it's not a signature series because we know those are like the yellow ones. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go take a look. And so I went back to the front room or front of the store, and I went on the computer and got on the Instagram and all. And I looked, and sure enough, one of the books that is specifically talked about is a green labeled CGC New Mutants number 98. And I've never seen one of those before. And I was like,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what is a green label?
I just think it means it is admitted to be a signature. It wasn't there when it was happening, is all.
No. Hold on. I mean, like, where is the label?
Oh, I'm
green?
sorry. So a CGC is a slab that you put your comic book and you never take out. You're never going to experience it again. It just has a grade on it. Or, what it really is, you want them so that you can sell them easier online. That one's a problem. No compunction about spending a lot of money on a comic book. Then the only thing that matters to me is I'm getting the one I want, and a CGC graded comic book helps. Eugene's going to actually get one so I can point it out. So at the top, it will have the grade. It will have the price. It will have, or not, it will have the grade. It will have the number of the comic book. It will have little notes, and then they'll be colored also. We have one in it's up above. Anyway, we have one that was restored, and you get that back. It's a purple label. Anyway, that's what the deal is. But we'll get one of those down, and I'll tell you more about it.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, so here we got one coming up. Oh, do we? Jeez. All right. Oh, here we go. So this is regular. Can you see that?
No.
Lower. Oh, how's that?
Yes.
So you see the blue label?
So that would just be green on the comic we're talking about.
Yeah. See, okay. I've seen yellow, I've seen blue. Obviously, I've seen purple because we have some restored ones. But had never seen green. So I knew this something was up. And then we're like telling these guys, oh, I don't know. I mean, Jeffrey and I are using our brother telepathy as best we can. It doesn't always work, but we're trying to. So he's like, I think these might be the stolen ones. I'm like, yeah, they might be the stolen ones. So we're chatting to these guys. We're continuing to chat to these guys like we would. They were any normal person that we were going to be buying stuff from, or actually probably stuff that we wouldn't be buying stuff from, because one comic, and we were like, this probably has a value. It probably is something really cool, but when am I ever going to have a customer come in and buy it? Now, the New Mutants, on the other hand, and then they were like, oh yeah, we got a whole box full of other stuff. And I'm like, what? Well, go get that. So it took a little while. It was probably 20 or 30 minutes. It felt like 20 or 30 minutes. It was probably like 10 or 20 minutes. The guys finally came back, but we were outside. My brother was smoking cigarettes. I'm like, I don't think these guys are going to come back. You think they're going to really come back? We really blew it. We should have just got those books. So I'm getting on the horn with Harley Yee because I've never done anything like this before. And I wanted to see what he thought. So I got his number. I'm calling him. The guys come back. I'm in the bathroom. I'm talking to Harley and I'm letting him know. And he's like, yeah, I think you probably should call the cops right away. I'm like, all right, fine. So I get off the phone with him, and I'm calling the cops. The problem with the cops is we already know it's going to take a long time for them to come. We're going to have to do this on our own. You know what? I can't spend a lot of money on these, but these are awesome books. I'd really like them. And he's like, for $2,000. And they're like, how about 2,500? And my brother's like, all right. Because we've already said that we know exactly what we're going to do. So he writes the check, and immediately when they're gone, they're going to go cash it. We know. So Jeffrey's on the line with the bank, and he's like, you got to cancel this check. Just wrote. I'm filming the comics. I'm counting I'm calling the cop on the horn with the bank. We're canceling the check, and then we're waiting. So the guys come back because the cops haven't shown up yet. I was hoping, and I even told the person, well, we're writing a bad check. We're writing a bad check so that we can secure these stolen comic books that are worth a lot. And I'll be here when these guys show back up, finding out that the check is canceled. And no cops. So the guys show up, all three of them. And these guys are bigger than me. They're bigger than Jeff. I'm bigger than Jeff. And they're like, we took it to the bank, and they confiscated the check. And we're like, oh fuck. We're like, we're kind of too bad. My brother's all they're all like, we got to come in and get this check, and tell them everything's cool. And my buddy's in the store. Our buddy is in the store also, and he's talking to me up front. So my brother is going to the bank with these three guys, and I'm like, holy cow, I hope this goes well. And I ask our buddy, I'm like, hey, will you do me a favor and trail these guys so you can watch what happens? And he's all right. So he takes off like about a half a minute behind those guys. And as they're going to the bank, I have my headphones on that usually I wear around my neck. I hate them. They're so lame looking. And I get a phone call from Chase, and they told me about how they had to do this thing with the check and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty great, because like my brother is coming over with those guys right now, and I really wanted them to meet up with the cops. So maybe you as a bank might want to do something like that. I guess they didn't do it, but the teller that was there was talking to them, or was talking to Jeff, and they were explaining how anything over $2,500 was going to take time, and they would have to deposit it into their bank account. So the teller actually said over 2,000. So the teller kind of lied a little bit also to make this happen, which was really cool. So the guys went on their way with the check. They gave the check back to them. It's canceled, but they don't know it. The bank knows it, and these guys are going to have to deposit it. Yeah, that's what happened basically. So we have all these books, and I know this screen looks horrible. I don't know what's going on.
It's worse than that, Yule. Something's going on with the feed. It's like really, really choppy.
No, that's too bad. This is it's like we're getting hit.
It's better to have poor video in this case, in my opinion. It keeps breaking up also.
Oh, is it sound that horrible?
Sometimes.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'll try and make it easier.
Try it with that. Yeah, just use that for now.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so we have all these books, and one of the guys who runs the Berkeley Comic Show was coming by to get a Detective 1000. We've locked our doors. We're closed for the day. This is about 7 o'clock at night. He comes by and we're like, oh, you got to check out what we just did. And he's like beside himself. This is Mark is his name. And he's like, holy cow, I can't believe this. He's getting a phone call from Harley about this because I haven't returned my phone call to him to let him know what's going on, because it's all happening simultaneously, basically. And I'm worried about my brother, basically. And everybody comes back all at the same, basically around the same time. And Mark and I go back to his office, which was just a couple blocks away, because I was really happy to get these out of the store. I was thinking, I'm going to have to take these home and make sure they're not around and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, I go up to the office with Mark. Jeff's downstairs at the coffee house across the street, watching just in case those guys want to come back and cause some problems. But none of that happened, and the cops got the books. Harley came today, got the books, and everybody's happy. That's how we got 100K in stolen comics. Yay. What do you think about that?
I'm curious. I get to use the storefront because you're using the whatever. I think that's awesome, but I suspect that there's more comics still missing from him, right?
No, actually, well, the one problem was, you remember that romance comic book?
Yeah.
So we downplayed that.
What's so funny? I mean, tell me the joke, damn it.
I'm telling you, we downplayed the comic so much that they basically left it in the car and didn't bring it back.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah. The thing about the romance comic, I guess, and I don't know, so I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's a special cover, or it's the, like, a very few time this person works in comics, and it's just really well known, and it was a big deal. It's an expensive book.
Was that also recovered?
Not yet. I mean,
okay, so the cops haven't actually caught these guys.
Let me tell you about the genius of my brother. Okay. He didn't just write them a check and cancel it. Okay. He got their phone number. Well, he got the guy who was going to cash the check. He got his phone number. He got his picture ID. And it's all on file with the cops. And it's so funny that happened. The only thing I'm worried about is that just maybe that guy's a patsy, which is sad. But,
well, that's why I asked if everything had been recovered. Like, was what you recovered actually like the lion's share of the stolen books?
Yeah. The only ones that were missing were, well, there were 2 that were recovered in another place, and then basically we got 98% of the rest.
Okay, so that one book remains missing, but they may be able to recover it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so.
Or after they found out about the check going bad, they had to just, like, shit can it.
Yeah, that would.
Well, that's the thing. Mark was saying he thought that stuff was probably just destroyed. Like nobody was ever going to see it again. And it's like, oh my God.
Wait,
What I
why
called
would
Harley the
wait,
first time when
huh?
I'm in the bathroom and I'm well, if you know what you have, right? And it's CGC, you got to at least take those out of the cases so that, you know, I mean, I knew because I knew Mutants came in with a green label. It was, and not only that, all of these CGCs come with barcodes. So I could go on their website and I could scan the barcode and I can know all the information I need to know about that.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a, so if you keep, and these were all kept in their cases. They had his price tags on them. These guys thought they were going to like get super rich or
Well, they
something.
could have if they had moved them farther away than 1 block.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
no,
move
no,
the
no, no,
stuff
no.
anywhere, just any other city.
Well, he did. He went all over. They went all over the place. But no, I don't. If everybody is connected within the comic book community, they knew about this. I mean, this was a significant amount of comic books and significant, you know, I mean, some of them were in very, very high grades too. And they're important books. I mean, some
They sound real nice.
again,
So Yule, is this guy like a friend of the comic store?
he is now.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
He is a guy that deals. I mean, I guess he travels, but he is out of Michigan.
That's where old Hudson's from.
Yeah, Huddy. Yeah,
That's right.
it's
That's
a
right.
little bit better.
I don't know what happened, but what do you
So
mean?
that's what that's the whole thing. That's how we got the comic books. I'm
Did
pretty
he talk to you? Did he say thank you or
yeah,
anything?
he did. Yeah, hold on. I have to get up to do this, but say something.
What I'm gonna say is that Yule was prepared for this moment and yet not prepared. That is
Oh,
what
yeah.
that is.
Well,
Yeah.
I noticed that when we were doing the pictures for the comics that I read, it was maybe possibly in shot, so I didn't want to give it away, so I had to hide it better.
Beastie Boys. That's yep.
All right. So Harley came in today. Well, so this is our schedule on Tuesday. We open up at 12, and when we get our shipment, we close. And about 2:33, we got our shipment and we closed. And we got a knock on the door. Mark came by with Harley. Harley came in to shake my hand and say thank you to me and Jeff. And then he handed me this. And I was like, no, I can't. No, no. And he's all, no, you have to have it. So can you see that? Can you see that?
No, hold on. It's a little bit wobbly.
Oh, yeah, and I have to do it that way. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do it that way. Oh, I'm the back side. So I got this. Can you see that?
Yeah, pretty much. The number's hard to read, but I know what to look for.
Yeah, so this is Hulk number 181. It's in a 4/5 condition, which is not the highest. It has off-white to white pages. I can see that right there. And that's the first Wolverine. First full Wolverine. He's actually in a panel in 180. For some comic books, that's actually the better one, but as far as like grails are concerned, this is one of the ones. And Harley just gave that to us, I should say. And
That is a hell of a thank you.
Trust me. I mean, holy cow. I don't know. I always say like, oh, I've never had a Hulk 181. And you know, Wolverine's not even like I can't stand Wolverine. So it's probably like sour grapes or something like that made me always say like I don't really care. We've had them in the store. We've sold them. I don't really care. But this one, man, it is, I don't know, it's a special one. In
That
the
is
very
a
least,
very special one.
yeah. So it was awesome. I mean, this is like the greatest thing that I've ever like done in comic books before.
Hey, from the perspective of a collector, that book is now associated with provenance that can be, I'm not even kidding, man. It can be traced,
Now, if I can just
and
something,
it is considered a storied issue, right?
sure.
It just became more valuable because it has been stolen and returned. It's pretty amazing.
Dude, they just thought that these things would just be like shit can, basically. That's what Mark was saying. And I mean, an AF-15, holy cow. And I was in really good condition too, if I'm not mistaken. And that was, oh yeah, so Harley, when I called him at first, I'm like, so I had to do it as I was walking past those guys the very first time. And I'm like, hey there, this is Yule from Fantastic Comics. I was like trying to say it in a way that, you know, oh, I'm calling a customer. And then I finally get into the bathroom and I'm like, this is Harley, right? And he's all, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I think we're going to get your books. And he's all, is the AF-15 in there? That's the first thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is the AF-15 in there? So yeah, I was like, dude, I don't know. They're coming back with the box. I'm really hoping we're going to be able to do this. But yeah, it was cool. It was a good time. And the cops actually called yesterday to follow up. Oh, the cops, they didn't get here till like 9 o'clock.
Wait, what time did you call them? At 5?
Like 5:36 maybe.
So 4 hours later they showed up.
Yeah, yeah.
So were they busy?
I don't know.
Come on, man. Berkeley is a small town. Where were they?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. It's small, but there's a lot of stuff going on.
Don't forget that there are also cops specific to the campus. So there's more cops than just the Berkeley cops.
Yeah. Yeah. Busy eating donuts. I could tell you those kinds of stories too.
Well, it's not.
I will do that some other day.
Yeah, some other day.
Yeah.
I think that's an amazing story, Yul. I really do. That's a heartwarming story coming from a comic book store, which cannot be common.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I threatened us talking about Twitter drama. That could easily be that way. But why don't we end that?
We can if you want to, because I don't think I know what you're going to talk about either. So yeah, I would like to know.
Yeah, I got called a comic skater by a guy because I suggested that I got blocked by Patrick Zurcher and Kurt Busiek. And I was like, don't they realize I mean, they don't know I own a comic store, but I mean, it wouldn't be hard to axe those books. And someone called me a comic skater and is all, I see who you're following. And I'm like, fuck you. I can follow whoever I want. That doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Would a stranger agree with that assessment?
I don't know. Well, the thing is like, as a store owner, okay, I have to make decisions on what I'm going to carry in the store, right?
Yeah, you were the person who was supposed to do that.
All right, so we're a family establishment, right? I don't carry porn.
I mean, yes, you are brothers.
I don't carry porn in here. I mean, why is that okay to say I don't want to?
I think we're back to the breaking up again. Yule, can you? I'm going to switch back to the icon.
It's fine. Anyway, what I was saying is, if I'm going to just do that for a sec too.
Yeah.
If I don't want to, if I feel disrespected, there's no reason why I need to do anything to line the pockets of another person. And these people jump to conclusions trying to suggest that I wouldn't order stuff for somebody. Well, I got a guy that came in and asked for doll, and guess what? It's porn, and I got it for them. You know, I don't have ever a problem ordering something that people want. But I mean, give me a break. It doesn't mean I have to do anything. I don't have to do anything extraordinary for somebody. I love those guys that do outright geekery, the Comic Cast podcast people. And they got totally slammed by this one creator. And he called our store, and this is a different thing. I want to separate. And he was like slamming them for saying that they were going to, like, you know, review comic books that they didn't agree with. And he didn't agree with. And they're like, dude, we review everything. Later on, a few weeks later, I got a phone call from that creator trying to pimp his book. And I had my brother answer the phone, and I'm like, no, thank you. How dare you? Don't insult a friend of mine or someone I like, and think, and especially me, and think you're gonna, you know, I mean, I don't need to do you any favors. Your stuff isn't that great. And the other thing I said is, it's not like DC is keeping Astro City in print. But, you know, and then I've been really, I mean, for me, wow, that's loud. For me, I've been swarmed. Over 5 people have liked comments about what I've said, with people not liking it, not liking what I said. So, oh man, like I said, wee bit of Twitter drama.
Is it your first Twitter drama?
I commented.
Are you a famous instigator?
No, not at all. Not at all. I've said before that I'm screaming out in the void. Almost nobody pays attention to me. Larry, who's in chat, he's paid attention to me. I talk with him. He's cool. We're cool with each other. I don't know. I try not to say anything. So I really thought it was an innocuous comment. I was like, geez, how can you be so upset that I mean, who is out there that gives a crap about Patrick Zurcher? You can't even name a Patrick Zurcher book, because the way comics are these days, he's only going to do 3 to 6 issues of something anyway. As far as Kurt Busiek, I've said that his Astro City is not in print. What other books are you going to gravitate towards? I love Avengers Forever. I have 5 different copies at home. But, you know, I mean, how many other books can you order that are Kurt Busiek related? Secret Identity's out of print. That Batman never finished. I mean, come on. I mean, who is, like, of all the 2 creators that I said I got blocked by, why do they care that Patrick Zurcher and Kurt Busiek blocked me? And the other thing about Kurt Busiek, little bitch, I'm gonna say that right now.
Whoa!
Sorry, I work for Rory Root. He was a good friend of Kurt Busiek. Rory Root would not have been cool with the way, you know, that whole, like, little blocks thing. I mean, he totally believes in freedom of speech. And, you know, I never even said word one to that guy ever once in all my Twitter life to Kurt Busiek. And I mean, he blocks me. I mean, now I said I will know when his new book comes out, then, obviously, not through him at least. But yeah, anyway, screw that guy. Yeah, eat it.
Eat it.
Eat it.
Jeez, you're so violent.
Eat it. Yeah, eat it.
You're such a
eat my short. And I really like his stuff too. You should see my Avengers collection of stuff that he has, or he wrote. But
where am I going to see that?
You can't see it.
Oh, okay.
You should see it, I said.
But where would I see it, Yule?
At my house. Maybe I'll flip through it someday. Yeah, Thor Godstorm, he wrote that one. That was the one with no, not Fantastic Comics, just the Yule Carter. My brother shelved something horribly. Just the Yule Carter Twitter handle, Big Blue Yule. I think I'm not going to go back to Twitter for a while, though. So I wanted to let people know, some people that I follow, that if you do go there, these are the people you should check out. You should check out Larry King Undead. You should follow Comic Perch. You should follow Comic Cast Pod or just the outright geekery. They're all on Twitter, and they always have really cool stuff. No, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to say anything so controversial about Kurt Busiek anymore.
Are you afraid you'll hurt his feelings?
I can't believe it. I mean, it's like that guy's so old. I mean, he's going to be retired soon.
What, Kurt?
Yeah.
Do artists ever really retire, Yule?
Well, he's a writer.
Well, you saying that writers aren't artists?
I'm not trying to suggest that a writer is not an artist.
I'm offended.
It's just easier to write something even but when
you're breaking up again, man.
Ugh, this stinks. What a day.
How old is your motherboard, by the way?
What was that?
How old is your motherboard?
You have to ask Jeffrey about that.
Like, what kind of internet connection do y'all have?
Good.
Well, do you right now?
Oh, yeah. No, keep that. I can't answer those questions. I'm going to get us set up for the comics for tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Please talk.
Oh, yes, I will speak now. Voices. I think it's actually fun to be the front door of your store and then talk to you, the person, because it's almost like you're having a conversation with your store. I probably am not a good representation of your store, though, am I?
Ooh. Well, you know what? I just told Kurt Busiek to eat it, so it really doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know that those two things are related at all, honestly. Like, what if you were a spaceship and you could talk to the captain of the spaceship? That's kind of what we're dealing with here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do I make a good spaceship?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh. I should probably work on my monotone.
Probably.
Hal?
Is that what it is?
Sorry, Dave.
There you go.
Yeah, let's talk about what's coming out.
Remember Conan?
I do. I was amazed by his physique in the last week's episode, and I am still amazed.
Yeah, and you know what? He's a handsome young man
with a terrible haircut.
Yeah, but you're gonna tell him so?
Well, no, I wouldn't really risk it, but I do believe it.
I think Alex Ross is doing a very good cover there. I used to not like Alex Ross that much when he was doing all those DC portraits and DC comics. It just, even Marvel's, I mean, it was well done. It just wasn't my favorite stuff. But over the past few years, his Spider-Man covers have been really good, and I've really enjoyed these Conans, obviously. So, what's coming out tomorrow? All right. Why is this important, everybody? Because it's another new age of hero that's being canceled.
How many have been canceled now?
Well, the Immortal Men did not last. There was the Challenger, the new Challenger miniseries. There was Curse of the Brimstone, that's canceled. Silencer's being canceled, or has been canceled. Sideways is canceled. The only one that's going on is the Terrifics, I think. And they do have a new writer coming on, Gene Yang. Gene Yang has worked at DC on some Superman stuff, but he's most well known for American-Born Chinese, Boxers and Saints, and a few other things. So Damage is on an island that he was sent to by Superman and the rest of the Justice League. And it's like a monster island where he can go and damage out. And I don't know how this is going to end, but it's overall had pretty good art. But like we talked about, Patrick Zurcher only doing 3 issues of something. His was Silencer. This actually, Aaron Lopresti has been doing this. So Aaron Lopresti has been doing it for quite a while. So there has been some stability on this one. But yeah, this is the last issue. Goodbye, Damage.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, New Age of Heroes. Little Bird number 2.
You kind of gushed a little bit about number 1.
Wow, number 1 was really good. I liked it a lot. This is a 5-issue miniseries. I couldn't tell you anything about the art or the writer. The artist did a book called House of Penance through, I think, Dark Horse. This is a fantasy. And oh yeah, there was a cliffhanger at the end of the first issue. I do believe the young girl that we were following was killed. So I don't know if she's going to remain a character, but there she is. Walking. Anyway, this was really good. I like this one a lot. I'm just going to do these previews as these are coming out. You should really check these out. I'm not going to go too deep into them. This is by Image. It is $3.99. Definitely worth the. It's a weighty book and it's got really fantastic art. I'm really looking forward to reading this. All right, Uncanny X-Men number 16. This is continuing that storyline after Cyclops and Wolverine came back to the land of the living. The X-Men are trying to get their team together. They pretty much did at the end of the last issue. Steve Rogers is butting his nose into X-Men business yet again. I've enjoyed this last storyline. The last issue of this storyline has probably been my favorite. There have been a lot of jarring transitional scenes from one moment to the next, and that's kind of stinky. And the action, and I'm not a big Salvador LaRocca fan. I haven't ever really been. There have been times where I have been okay with him, but this has been okay. Amazing Spider-Man The Hunted. This is 19.HU Hunted. This is in between issues 19 and 20. The reason why this is something that you should want to pick up, because usually I don't recommend standalone sideways issues that don't matter, but this has the Lizard in it, and it also has art by Chris Bachalo. And he usually does his best work when he's working on, when he's working on Spider-Man or X-Men, which is what he usually does. And when he's doing Lizard stories, like he did way back when for this one story called Shred, he does some of the best work. And oh yeah, I like his Lizard. Anyway, he's one of my favorite artists. Ever since Shade the Changing Man, he's been one of my favorite artists. So Amazing Spider-Man. This League 22. This is in between that whole 6-dimension story that's going on, and this is a villains issue. Every 5 issues or so, the Justice League takes a break, and we get a villain's point of view from the Legion of Doom. This one is drawn by Francis Manapul, and the writer is Tinian, who is Scott Snyder's right-hand man. And I've been enjoying the villain issues quite a bit. Sorry about all the ads. And I like Francis Manapul quite a bit, although I think he works straight to digital. It works for me. Anyway, Justice League, Legion of Doom. Oh, I forgot to ask you a question.
Come on, man.
What's the most important comic book character created for Marvel in the last 10 years? That's right, Major X.
Get out of town.
Well, the last 10 years haven't been that good.
Maybe if the last 10 years started the moment that book came out and ended right after.
This actually has art by a different person, Brent Peoples. Why don't we look at a few pages and see if you think it's better or worse than Rob's?
You know how I feel about Rob.
You love him. Well, I see a nice little booty there. But I kind of like the scenery. Oh, another ad. So what do you think of this art?
Well, it's still got a very 90s feel to it.
Yeah, this definitely right here.
Oh yeah, it just kind of smells powerfully.
Yeah. You know what would be awesome if Grant Morrison wrote a book and Rob Liefeld drew it. I think we should make that happen.
pitch
Anyway,
it, pitch it to Rob. I bet he'd go for it.
yeah, we'll see if Grant would.
Yeah, there's the crux.
This is part 2 of a 6-issue miniseries. It's the next issue for this person. But I know Wilson's going to be
We're losing
doing
this
2
whole
issues,
bit, man.
and I thought it was pretty good.
Did you hear what I said?
I mean, it wasn't good, but I liked it. It was pretty good in that way. It made me laugh. Anyway,
I'm sorry, man. I think we lost a lot of what you just said. I didn't hear any of it anyway.
All right. Major X. Buy it. And then lastly, War of the Realms. Number 2. 6-part series that's coming out bi-weekly. I hope anybody can hear me. It's got art by Russell Dodderman. This is the last story of Jason Aaron's Thor. If you've been hanging around and didn't know this was coming out, you should have. I've been talking about it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The first issue sold out, and I expect this one too also.
Can we see a little bit of that interior? I'm a fan.
Woo.
Oh, big black page. Good.
Yeah.
Can you please say something?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize. All right. There you go. That's a nice page. I like him because he does, he kind of does like the J.H. Williams the third, where he does a lot of nice little different style pages that maybe aren't as elaborate as Williams's, but I like this. It's kind of like, you know, through a different lens.
I think he does really nice work.
It does. The one thing I've said in the past is that sometimes his heads don't look like they belong like on the shoulders that they are.
You said they were floating heads or something.
Or maybe the faces don't connect totally with the heads. I don't know. But overall, this guy's a really fantastic artist. He's probably going to be something really, really good in the future if he keeps it up. But there is also fantastic coloring by Matt Wilson, I do believe. And this is not cheap at all. It's a pretty good book. I enjoyed the first issue. I'm looking forward to this one.
Nice.
Covers by Adams. And there you go.
Is that all that is coming out tomorrow that you feel is worth mentioning?
That's for the most part.
You get any toys?
Do I? Yeah, not really. Not this week.
Nothing special, huh?
Not really. Oh, there's a General Grievous toy.
Oh.
Would you like to see that? Does everybody not know what General Grievous looks like?
You know, I figured it out about last year, but I do know. And yes, I would like to see it.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, why not? I mean, if you've got it handy.
I do. It is right here. Hold on a sec. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have been talking. So there you go. Yeah, General Grievous and all his arms. Did you see that movie? I did not.
The one where he had 4 lightsabers?
Any of them, actually.
You know, I think I've seen it, but I couldn't really tell you. I'm not real good with remembering stories, especially ones that bored me.
Oh, man. Jason Aaron's Thor run is going to end with War of the Realms, if I'm not mistaken. Or the last issue of Thor that wraps up War of the Realms. So there you go.
Fantinuum. I kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you'd be there for a Liefeld Morrison book.
Wait, what? Oh, you're
Avengers
reading.
Forever was actually Carlos Pacheco. I'm a big fan of Carlos Pacheco. Don't fight me about that. Because I will fight. But yeah, so there you go. That's what we have for the day.
That is sort of what we have for the day.
That is what we have for the day.
Well, I don't know about you, but like I have a really, really busy week up ahead. What are you doing this week?
Oh, I'm gonna take a day off on Thursday, and I'm gonna see my my nephew perform a musical.
Which nephew? I assume it's the elder.
Yes. Jackson is his name. And yeah, I'm going to see that. That'll be fun. I'm really happy to be able to go out and do something family oriented.
Nice.
What's
the performance?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, afterwards, will you be able to tell me
next week? That'll be the teaser for next week.
Going to see a play.
What do little kids sing about? I
don't know. God, you know what? I know more than I wish I knew, but I don't know. Yeah, well, we're geez, I don't know. We're early, you all. We're ahead of time, actually.
We've been having audio problems. It's
not audio, dude. It's not audio. It's the internet connection.
It's the internet. Well, you know what I mean.
I do, and it's irritating, and I don't know how to fix it. And I don't know if I can fix it.
20. All right, I'll tell you what I did at People's Park one time. We ate mushrooms, a healthy amount of mushrooms one day, and we went up to People's Park. And it was wild. I mean, we're just sitting there, and it's just, oh my God, it's such a weird place. But there were people like doing big old bubbles and stuff like that. It was good to trip out on.
People's Park is the one in Berkeley?
Wait, what was that?
You said People's Park? The one in Berkeley?
Yeah, so Diablo Hashcraft said I was going to go to People's Park on 420. And I've been to People's Park, obviously. But
didn't you say last week that the Telegraph is dead, though?
Well, I mean, people are I actually hear that all right, so anybody that's ever in Berkeley, if you are on Telegraph and Durant, there is a store up there called Games of Berkeley. I love Games of Berkeley. If you are into role-playing games or Magic the Gathering or puzzles or chess or games, it's got to be, I mean, you have your chain stores, but this is definitely the best store one of the best stores you can go to, without a doubt. And they do like, tournaments and things like that, but they're not like super crazy, like some places, but they're very good very good store. I buy my Magic cards there often, and my D&D books.
They have some pretty obscure stuff too, like those really, really expensive German board games, and I want to say they have a bunch of models too. Is that right?
Yeah, they'll have some things. Yeah, it'll be like Lord of the Rings related or something. Yeah. And when they were down here on Shattuck, they had a lot of stuffed animal type stuff also for people coming. It was a more touristy thing, so I don't know if they have necessarily that, but the layout that they have up there, it just looks really, really sweet.
I wonder if they're selling more tourist dollars now up there.
Maybe, I don't know. I wonder, maybe we should move up there someday instead.
Well, instead of staying on Shattuck.
Shattuck sucks.
I would
knows that. I have the nicest old lady that comes in. She talks about I say old. She
what
comes
is she,
in
30?
No, she's older. She talks about Henry Cavill and the guy who plays Thor.
Are you talking about Janet?
Yeah, Janet. Yeah, you know Janet.
Yeah, I met her.
Like, oh my God. And I went over and I got the mop. I'm going to need this for when you move. About all those hot dudes. She, yeah, Chris Hemsworth. She's like, oh, all I have to do is mention. All I have to do is go Henry Cavill, and her leg starts twitching.
She's a funny lady.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, she is.
She comes in and bugs me about all the movies all the time.
New movies.
Yeah, new movies especially.
Okay.
But she loves the John Wick stuff also.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Keanu. Yeah, there's a parking garage, but they are widening the street right now in front of my store so that there won't be any parking. And right now, even though they're widening the street, it's a one lane street while they're doing it.
Hey, when you say they're widening it, do you mean they're getting rid of the parking spaces and that's
What
it? Or are they
sounds
actually taking away sidewalk?
They're taking away sidewalk and parking spaces.
Where are they going to get the sidewalk?
Well, I don't think they're doing it on my side. I don't think they're digging up the sidewalk. And on the other side where the yoga studio is, there's a lot more sidewalk to chop up. And if it's not going to be a parking space, they pretty much have the room for it now.
Okay.
Yeah, park at Ashby BART and then BART in for one stop. That's usually the best way. Or the other train station, obviously, El Cerrito. Because like if you're going to El Cerrito, is that the right one? El Cerrito? That's the one by Stand Up Comics.
Yes.
Don't go to comics. Just come over here instead.
Don't say that. If that's your local, go there.
Just joking. That's a superhero store. Nobody comes in here for superhero stuff, right? Right, Fantinuum?
You know that's why we do this show, right?
I'm just joking.
I know that you're joking, but I don't know that everybody that you are talking to knows that you're joking.
Well, they do now since I've said it like 3 times.
Okay.
You did it like twice, so I think it's pretty understood.
Okay. That's cool. Hey, Yule, let's call it, yeah?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody that's going to be watching in the future, thanks for having tuned in. If you can, give us a like or maybe a comment.
I have a request. If you all are all still here and you have any idea what was causing our internet problem tonight, please just mention it in the comments so we can look into every avenue to try to fix this. Thank you for showing up. See you next week.
Yeah, see you next week, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.